The hell was that? Oh well. This here is a video response to OGPHAT505. Well, it's not really a video response considering that he didn't say anything that I know of. I don't know. He confuses me sometimes, that guy. But you know, OG, man, he's alright. If you haven't seen his channel yet, check it out. I'm glad to see he's back. I know about a month or so ago I announced that he was coming back, but then something happened where he had to delay his return. But he is back, full on back. Whatever was good about him back then that I went and recommended his channel to everyone, it's better now. So definitely go check out his channel. He's got some new videos up. He's in a new place, new environment, and he's really on point, man. He just has like these vlogs that are just really cool to listen to. Very funny guy. So go check him out. But this is about, I believe he has asked for favorite video games. Now, I'm an old fuck, okay? There's no doubt about that. I just turned 41. I mean, I was around when Pong had just first hit home console, okay? And I'm talking the Pong, not even the Pong where you could take the paddle off the machine. I mean, you both had to be hunched down head to head and shit. I got it. I win. And my point. And you're just twisting the little knob back and forth on this little diamond-shaped console. It was terrible. But I was around when that was big. So, as games progressed, home games progressed. We had the Atari, and we had, oh, if you were lucky enough, you had a Commodore 64 with its advanced graphics. Oh, man. So I kind of lean towards some of the retro stuff. You know, Miss Pac-Man, Centipede, Millipede. As a matter of fact, MindJolt.com has some Atari classics, and some of them are Centipede, Millipede, uh, Asteroids, Tempest. Oh, Tempest. I love Tempest, man. Back in the day, I had like the roller ball, just like no, that was the roller ball. That was Centipede. This one had a little dial, but you had a zzz, and you spin it back and forth, and it was like hyperactivity, man. It just made your brain just go all over the place. Very cool stuff, man. My eye won't stop itching. Shit. I think I strained something in it. Oh well. And of course, as time went on, you start getting to the more modern games. Well, modern for their time, like Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that, which are still favorites of mine. Love Mario Kart. Still love Mario Kart. I have an N64 that I can play Mario Kart on. I also have Mario Kart for the DS. And I don't know, it's just a fun game. You know, it's like one of the very few racing games that I still get into. But as far as modern consoles go, like the Xbox 360 and the PS3, Left 4 Dead is probably one of my all-time favorites. I love the zombie action, love the first-person shooter aspect of it. Left 4 Dead 2 does not disappoint, gives you a lot more aggressive enemies. Easy is even difficult on this one. Those witches that were bitches in part 1 are just, they're in mass quantities now. So, yeah, it has its challenges. I really like that. Big fan of Resident Evil. It did kind of stray in some parts. Like you had Resident Evil Survivor, which blew huge monkey nuts. It was terrible. And then, although Halloween, I'm looking at Halloween over here. Although Resident Evil 4 steered away from the zombies, it was still an awesome game. More so these people were like diseased or sick or whatever, so it was still cool. Resident Evil 5, kind of the same thing. I'm hoping they get back to the zombie killing action, but my favorite of that series, of the Resident Evil series, was Nemesis, Part 3. Nemesis was awesome, man. I loved it because for the first time you couldn't just run into another room and the zombie leave you alone. You know, well, no, that's not true. Because in the first one, the T, whatever it was, the T-100, or the big mecha one that you couldn't kill, the one that just kept getting up all the time, it crashed through a wall. But that was like the only incident of that happening. But in Nemesis, the Nemesis would actually chase you from screen to screen. So I thought that was pretty damn cool. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. I mean, I'm sure there are. Like Silent Hill. Still like Silent Hill. Very strange, very creepy game. I'm into the survival horror stuff. Fatal Frame 1 through 3. My wife plays that. I watch her play it. It looks pretty awesome. I've never actually played it, but it looks very, very cool. What else? Some of the Rockstar games like Grand Theft Auto. Awesome stuff. Sometimes the missions get a little complicated for me. I'm not as sharp as I used to be, so sometimes it's like I get lost. It says, start the mission now, and I go to start the mission, and halfway through I'm like, well, this looks cool, let me go shoot this person. This looks cool, let me go rip this person off. And then I forget I'm on a mission. Before I know it, I failed. There are some other ones that I'm trying to remember. Can't really remember the names of them offhand. But, oh, I like Scarface. Scarface is a really cool game for the PS2. Awesome game. I got into that one pretty heavy for a while. All the way up until I had to go to Colombia to like handle my business and shit. And I was like kind of like, got kind of disenchanted with it. But when you're on the street hustling, you have to beat up people for their drugs and sell it to other people at a higher price and make that money. You do get kind of caught up in it. But my favorite game for the PS2 is Manhunt. Because in that one, it's kind of like a snuff film angle, and you're up against some total psychopaths. And it's a creepy-ass game for what it was. And you're the killer, man. And when you take someone out, it ain't just, bang, you're dead. It's grab them by the face, rip them in the throat with something jagged, tear their vocal cords out, chop them in the stomach with a sickle, rip out their guts, bash them in the head with a bat till all the little pieces of their head go flying everywhere. It was pretty damn intense for a PS2 game. One of the most intense games that ever came out, which I couldn't understand why they released that and then couldn't release Part 2 uncensored. Didn't really get into 2 as much as I wanted to. It looked like a rush job, and with all the time that they made people wait for it to come out because of the whole censoring thing, it had gotten like an AO rating, which is adults only, and all the systems really won't release an AO rated game, which is bullshit in my opinion. Because an adult only game should be able to be purchased and played by an adult. But they thought better of it, and they made everybody wait and wait and wait. And finally Part 2 came out, and I looked at it like, you waited all this time and you couldn't tweak it up any better than that? You get up to like a syringe, and the syringe is like this big around, just floating there, flickering around in air, like it's having a seizure, and you go and grab it, and that's supposed to be your weapon. This little syringe is like this big, like an oil can, and the pen is like this long, and it looks horrible, Their hands are like huge, and it's like, come on, guys, for all the time you made us wait, you couldn't make the graphics any better than that. It's bad enough every time you kill someone, it goes into the psychedelic, trippy, censored spot where you can't really see what's going on, but it was alright, I suppose. On the Wii, they released House of the Dead, which is another franchise I like a lot, but it's called House of the Dead Overkill. I don't know what they were trying to prove with this one. I thought the action on it was cool. I thought the shooting on it was cool. For a Wii game, you're using that controller as the gun, and it's kind of neat, but excessive amounts of cursing in this game. It's like every third word was this ugly curse word. It's like, I can understand throwing in a curse word here and there to accentuate a situation, but this was like just unnecessary, just blatant cursing, for the sake of being edgy, I guess. I don't know. But other than that, I thought the game was pretty cool. But as far as like the retro games, Coin Ops, Love coin ops. If I had the money to own like 3 or 4 of them, I'd definitely own Miss Pac-Man. I would own Galaga. I would own Donkey Kong. And one more. Probably Tempest. I like Tempest a lot. I really like that one. Never got very, very far on it, but I think the furthest I ever made it was like the 15th level. So, yeah, that was pretty sharp. I know a lot of people play like the coin op, like the wrestling games and stuff. Didn't get into those too much. And they also get into like Virtua Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was cool when it first came out. It still is pretty cool. But, yeah, I guess to basically sum it up, if I had to put like a period on the end of this long-ass sentence that I just did, as far as the new consoles go, I like the survival horror stuff. Definitely Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 tops that list. The second generation consoles like the PS2 and the Xbox, I'd have to say Manhunt and Resident Evil 3. And for the old school consoles like N64, Mario Kart is awesome. Yeah. I don't know what my favorite game on the Atari 2600 is. Never really had a favorite. That joystick was murder on my hand and wrist. I mean, you have this big box you have to hold on to like this in an unnatural way and bend that damn controller. After a while, you're like, I don't want to play anymore. Then when we got really nice controllers, those such smooth action, we were like operating it too fast. Anyone who plays games now, you know, the modern games with their fast reflex deals and now, go back and play an old game like Pong with its little blip going bleep, 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 bleep. Do that and see how many times you miss that thing because your reflexes just want to go snap, 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 and you're like moving the thing way too fast. I know I've been guilty of that a few times. So I hope in all that mess you guys got something out of that. But there you go, OG. Some of my favorite games ever. Just for you, man. Welcome back. And hope to see many, many, many more of your videos. So till next time, guys. Take it easy. Go check out OG's channel.